Hey everyone, I'm Shanice. Welcome to my channel if you're new. So I am here with my overall review of The Legend of Vox Machina. It's been a week since I've uploaded the last episode, episode 12, and I already missed the series. I missed reacting to it. It was definitely one of those shows that I was like looking forward to reacting to. And again, I cannot stress this enough. I just want to say thank you to each and every single person who has come across my channel and subscribed due to this series. And thank you if you tuned in to the other content that I have on my channel and binge watched it and give it a like or commented. Thank you to those who commented and gave me, little facts about the show or recommended me to watch, the behind the scenes and the making of the show. I greatly appreciate it. So I'm gonna get into this review. I'm just gonna cover like the characters, what I thought of them, who's my favorite characters, favorite episodes, and giving my overall rating of the show. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with Vex. She is the twin sister of Vax, and I consider her the leader. When they had a dispute in one of the episodes, like, oh, who's the leader? They were all kind of like, oh, well, I think I'm the leader. I think I'm the leader. And I feel like Vex has been more so like the head person, head woman in charge, because she's the one that gives everybody a sort of task to do. She definitely reminded me of Korra, and some of you told me that this was kind of like made with the same studio, so it does make sense that she and Korra kind of look similar. It's just it's like her complexion and then the color scheme of like her outfit is why she reminds me of Korra. And then also she's the one that's more close to the bear trinket, whereas Korra had the polar bear dog, so those similarities there. But I liked Vex. I always like or admire female characters who take charge. They don't take BS, and I guess like in that world or what they do, they're like mercenaries, so you can't be all soft-hearted, and at times, depending on the situation, giving people a chance, like you gotta act now. And I liked Vex's like you did see that side to her where she's more caring in regards to Percy. And I wonder if in season 2 we're gonna see like a little relationship develop between Vex and Percy. So that's how I feel about Vex. Okay, entering Vax, I'm not gonna lie, I did find him attractive as a freaking animated character. I don't know if the creators have put out a statement or commented on Vax's sexuality, but it came across to me that he's like bisexual, like he's into Keyleth, but there was something going on between him and Gilmore, I think his name was. And I hope in the second season, not only with him and Vax, I hope we get to see more of their backstory. It was briefly kind of mentioned that their mother was killed by a dragon. So the fact that at the end of the first season, dragons are coming to the kingdom of Edmund or Tal'Dorei, right? I wonder if we're gonna find out if one of those dragons, whether it be the white, black, red, or green one, is the one that killed their mother. I kind of hope that the second season focuses or spotlights that backstory between Vax and Vex. I loved Vax's weapons. I did mention it in an episode. His daggers or knives, they're able to kind of like come back to him. And yeah, like it always happens in films or shows where a character likes somebody and they wait until the last minute to confess their feelings, and maybe in the next season he's just gonna kind of like keep his distance with Keyleth, and she's going to kind of like figure it out what it is that she wants. I mean, she did briefly state that she kind of has other priorities set before pursuing a relationship with anybody, but Vax, is he my favorite character? I think he's one of my favorite characters. I mean, I like all of them in their own special way, but you know, I think I find Vax very attractive. Okay, I'm gonna segue to Keyleth. Again, I kept saying this at least a few times. I kind of slept on her. I didn't really find her all that interesting, but season 4, episode 4, she was able to prove herself. And then like as each episode since episode 4 passed, it's like her powers grew and she became more confident, which I really liked. You know, she was very kind of like reserved. She wasn't sure if the group should kind of like stick together, but when she saw that her friends really needed her in episode 4, she stepped up. When Vax was almost eaten by that resurrected dog or whatever, she really was like, stay away from him, like that's my friend, or that's somebody I have feelings for and I care about. She like stepped it up. But it was really episode 9 between her and Pike where they really went all out. And as you saw in episode 11, I got teary-eyed because I didn't want her to die. I don't want any of them to die, but it comes to show, even in this short amount of time with this show, you come to care for these characters. But overall, I also hope in season 2 we get to see Keely's homeland, the Ashari, about her family or her community, her tribe, her family. I said family already, I'm sorry. And I wonder if she's maybe towards the middle or end of the second season, her and Vax are going to end up together in a relationship. But I got the impression in the last episode that she has feelings for Vex, but some of you guys were saying like, no, it's because before Vex didn't really like her, but now she's giving her encouragement, she's like proud of her, and that's why Keyleth blushed like that. But for someone who watches anime, or like just kind of like in real life too, when you like somebody or when it's depicted mainly in anime, when you kind of like have feelings for somebody, they do tend to blush, but they also kind of like twirl their hair, or they kind of do this stroking thing with their hair, like you know. But again, I could have taken it the wrong way, but I just thought like, I just took it as if she likes Vex than Vax, or she could like both of them. But I feel like that would be kind of messed up, like she likes both of them, but it's like they're brother and sister. So, but that's my thoughts on Keyleth. Next up is Percival something 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 DeRollo. Like he had a long name, but Percy. This season focused mainly on his story, his family, Whitestone, the Briarwoods, and I felt like if you were to take anything away from like Percy, it's just the fact that your rage, revenge, that anger can consume you. It could literally, well, not in the real world, but in that sense in the show, it literally manifested into what was that thing called? It was like ox first or something. It had a name, but it manifested into that, and it was about to take a hand in basically killing Vox Machina. And thankfully Percy, I mean, he sacrificed his hand, but he was able to overcome it and say, no, this is my family, I'm not gonna let you hurt anybody else. And with the help of Scanlan, it was defeated. Percy was kind of getting a little bit on my nerves because he was just so consumed with going after the people who were the downfall, who had a hand in the downfall of his family, his home being casted out and running away, the, what's the word I'm looking for, the rift in the relationship between him and his sister. I mean, thankfully they were able to mend their relationship, and you know, Cassandra is now going to lead Whitestone and things are going to get better there. But with Percy, yeah, his character he was okay. He didn't really stand out to me until I realized the story was going to be focused on him. And I think I said it in episode 10 or 11. I was like, Percy's starting to annoy me a little bit, but there was a reason why, because of, you know, that entity and just wanting to get revenge on his family. I mean, I feel like anybody, if they went through what Percy gone through, would have had the same reaction. So I can't really complain. Alright, so next up is Pike. She was truly the MVP of episode 9. She had a whole Captain Marvel in Avengers Endgame moment, which I greatly appreciated. We got to see a little bit more of her backstory, where she's come from, her, I don't want to call it religion, but like what she believes in, which is the Everlight, and her figuring out what it is that who she is. And I'm glad that, I felt like the Everlight was trying to tell her that I know that you appreciate me and you appreciate your friends, but you're not fully being truthful to like who you are. You feel like you have an obligation towards me and following me, and I respect that, but like I want you to know that you can respect and follow me and believe in me and everything, but your friends, I'm not saying you can't be with your friends, you know. And I think that's why Pike was kind of struggling with, or maybe that's why she was starting to get a bit separated or losing her power to the Everlight, because of that disparity. And she went back, connected to the Everlight, and chose the right thing. I feel like she could move on knowing like she can both not respond, she could both cherish and honor the Everlight, but at the same time be with her friends, because they bring out the very best in her. Yeah, they curse and they do all these things that she thought the Everlight would find unholy or just inappropriate, but it was like, I guess like she was just reserving herself, she was holding herself back, but now she's reached her full potential. And we seen that in episode 11, where she was just going head to head with Silas. And yeah, her connection disconnected or faded away at a crucial point, but it's good to see that she's able to just fully be herself. And I felt like if there was a message to viewers, it's like, whatever it is that you feel passionately about, you don't have to sacrifice that or let it go in order to do or be with whoever you want to be. So you could have both, you know. So that's what I took away from Pike's story. Wait, is it Grog or Gorg? Grog, right? Because I'm thinking of that thing from the Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, when the orcs were like, Grog, Grog. So, oh my gosh, how can you not like Grog? I'm also hoping in season 2, I feel like I'm asking a lot to happen in season 2, but there's only so much that they can do if they do decide to do season 2 and have 12 episodes. But with Grog, I want to know more of his backstory. He was half giant and half something else, which I don't know what it is, but he's basically like the spirit of the group, Vox Machina. He brings the comedy. He was the MVP of episode, was it episode 10, where he jumped into the acid. Oh my goodness, like if it wasn't for him, if he wasn't in the group, they all would have died. I like how he just charges in. He doesn't think, he just goes in. But he is a ride or die for the group, especially for Pike. I like his relationship with her. It's like a little brother, and she's like the older sister. He's very strong. So I don't know what the other half he is a part of. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Grog. I feel like it's just, I'm glad that he was able to just be himself, be funny, be a huge old goofball. And yeah, I'm hoping that in season 2 we get to know a bit more about Grog. Like, I really want him to have a moment where he's like really serious. Like, we did see that in like episode 1 when they saw that the village was destroyed and he was like really sad. He was like, oh, like I'm feeling things, and you know, I'm upset. So he's very aware of his emotions. But he's basically like the Hulk of the group, the strong one in the physical aspect, not in the magical aspect like Keyleth and Pike. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Grog. Last but not least is Scanlan, the very inappropriate sexual type of character who sings. Trust to believe the first episode, I'm like, yo, what the heck am I watching? Scanlan. We've come to know that there is another way he can conjure up his power with his greatest, you know, asset. I want to know if he really likes Pike or if that's just the temporary thing. When she ended up saving him, I forgot what was the first instance. Oh no, it was when she decided she was leaving the group to go figure out what was going on between her and the Everlight. We saw him a bit sad, and I wasn't sure if that was because, you know, he really has feelings for her, or it was just the fact that, like, dang, we're losing a part of our family, like our close-knit family. But then in episode 11, 10 or 11, when she was like, it was episode 11, she was like, stay away from my gnome. Like, we saw the heart eyes. So I don't know if he really loves Pike, and I don't want to assume they're gonna get together because they look the same. They're both gnomes, right? So I don't want to assume that they're gonna end up being together. But Scanlan, I'm kind of glad that he was like the MVP also of episode, ooh, was it 8, 7 or 8, when he was able to be the distraction so that they could go and rescue, was it when they went to go and rescue Archie? Yeah. He was funny. I love his songs, and I'm upset that you couldn't see my reaction, excuse me, in the first episode, him introducing the members of the group of Vox Machina. Very outspoken, very, I feel like at times he cannot read the room. It's like, Scanlan, come on. But yeah, he was very enjoyable to watch, and you know, just get to know him a bit more. So I'm just gonna briefly, if I'm looking down, I'm just looking over my notes, I'm just gonna briefly go over like a little bit of the other characters. Silas, I mean, besides Vax, he's another character that was like attractive. Like, it's the voice, and I'm one of those people who don't like to look, if I find an animated character attractive, I don't want to know what the voice actor looks like because it's gonna ruin the fantasy in my head. But we got to see his origin story of how he became a vampire, and it was due to Delilah. But I really wish they were kind of around for season 2, but I guess like we have to have new villains and whatnot. If you ask me who would win in a fight between Silas and Vlad Dracula Tepesh from Transylvania, I think Dracula is going to win against Silas. But I think Silas will put up a fight because he has that sword. And you know, I like how he stood by his woman Delilah. She was I mean, he was willing to be by her side, do anything for her, but unfortunately he ended up dying. And then with Delilah, so you guys did tell me that she is the same, the voice actress is the same one from Avatar The Last Airbender. She portrayed Azula. So she has a very distinct voice, so it wasn't like that difficult to be like, hey, she sounds familiar. Delilah, unfortunately, her story came to an end. She was defeated by Cassandra, and I admire that she was willing to do literally whatever it takes to defend, bring back her loved one Silas, even if it means conjuring up the whispered one, which didn't quite work out. And in the end, like I said, she was defeated. And you know, they made a good villain couple. I'm trying to think of any other villain couples that I know. Yeah, I can't think of any, but yeah, that's my take on Silas and Delilah Briarwood. Cassandra, she was another character that was beginning to bug me a bit, because she kept saying like, oh brother, you abandoned me, and like the Briarwoods are my family. But I feel like what she was saying was based off of Silas's like glamour or mind control, and it was conjuring up like, I guess like her subconscious thoughts of like how she perceives Percy, and probably some of the things they kind of brainwashed her over the years, like, oh, your brother abandoned you, he doesn't love you. So that's probably all of that mixed into it, and then that's why she was like always verbalizing it. I knew her character was sketchy, because I'm like, there's no way that she's lived with the Briarwoods for all those years and she was gonna so easily be on Percy and the group side. But I'm glad she was able to redeem herself, and she was the one who defeated Delilah. If I was in her shoes, I don't think I could have forgiven Delilah and Silas for what they done to the family. They killed their parents and their other siblings and casted them out of their, well, as far as Percy, their home. And now she's the new leader of Whitestone. Archie, even though he was in like 2 episodes, someone told me he's the actor something Monahan or Donahan. He played Mary in, yeah, he played Mary in Lord of the Rings, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He played in I forgot his character in Lost, but he was the voice for Archie. I did not know that. Even though I was like, his voice sounded familiar, it just sounded more gravelly and a bit deeper and like harsher than what I was used to hearing his voice in the Lord of the Rings. I was shocked that he was cut in half by the Duke. I mean, you don't understand. I just was like, why are they just standing there posing like that? And then when the blood spurted out, I was just like, oh, like I just couldn't believe that happened. But R.I.P. to Archie. And the last person I'm gonna cover is the Duke, who was voiced by the actor who played the Hound. You know, he was like a nice little mini villain. I thought Scanlan was gonna be the one to defeat him, but the townspeople were able to do it. I mean, there's nothing much to say about the Duke. I mean, was he under orders of the Briarwoods? I'm trying to remember. I'm definitely gonna rewatch the show in my spare time. I have so much content like I'm pushing out to you guys, and content that's coming out, so please subscribe to my channel, because June, late May and June and July is gonna be crazy. Basically the next like 3-4 months is gonna be crazy on my channel in terms of content. But yeah, there's not much to say about the Duke. I just thought like he and Grog were somewhat like related, meaning they're in the same, like they're the same race, like of giants and whatever the other half is. But I would have loved to see a matchup between Grog and the Duke. I think Grog would have won if they were to 1v1 each other. But okay, that's me going over their characters and their like arcs. If you had to ask me who's my favorite character, I would say Grog, but I really like all of them. I really like, this is my favorite group ever. Like, I mean, they may even top the Akatsuki for me. Like, I love when all characters to me are on the same level. I feel like there was not one that really stood out and did the best over everybody else, but just to me personally, all of them, I really like all of them for their each and own individual reasons. Sorry, like okay, if you were to ask me my favorite episodes, I wrote down 1, 3, 9 and 11, but I think I'm torn between episode 1 and episode 9. Because episode 9, like that moment with Keyleth and her being like Elsa, letting go and creating that whole ice barrier, and then Pike's entrance, and then her enhancing everybody's weapons. That was just such a moment. The first episode set the tone for what the rest of the show was going to be like. And it, like, I think it did even better than the first episode of Peacemaker. If you haven't seen my reaction to that series, you could click up here. It was like, I just busted out laughing. I loved the first episode. We were introduced to each of their characters. The plot was set in motion. We got to see the relationship between them. And yeah, I would say it's a tie between episodes 1 and 9. But yeah, those were my favorite episodes. Favorite moments: Pike's entrance, Pike versus Silas, the ending of the 12th episode when dragons came back. I was just like, oh, what else? The fight in the bar in the first episode. Yeah, those are like my top 4. Like, let me come up with one more so I can make it a top 5. I'm really trying to think. Oh, and then the moment in episode 11 with Keyleth and the her creating, was it light or was it the actual sun? I think it was the actual sun. That was like such a dope moment. Oh, and also, wait, I said Pike versus Silas. Okay, because that fight and the camera work and the animation and the movements around the action, chef's kiss. But yeah, those are my favorite moments in Vox Machina. So we come to the end of this video. What is my overall thoughts and my rating of this show? My thoughts: hilarious. I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. This is something I definitely would want to share with like family, friends, to people who are like 18 and up, because the show is inappropriate. It has nudity, foul language, inappropriate situations, action-packed moments where you get teary-eyed, comical, like, what else can you say? It's just something that you have to see for yourself. And if I were to give it a rating on a scale from 1 to 10, I give it a 10 out of 10. I don't see one bad thing wrong with this show. I greatly enjoyed it. Dang, they are really going hard. I guess somebody is renovating their house. This was just an amazing show. I'm upset that it's over, but I'm definitely gonna watch it again, probably like sometime later this month, and then I'm definitely going to rewatch it again when the second season comes out, so I can just refresh my memory. Again, I just want to say thank you to each and every single person who has subscribed to my channel due to The Legend of Vox Machina. I truly hope that you stay and watch the other content that I have coming up. I'm going to do The Umbrella Academy. I'm going to do Stranger Things. I'm going to do The Boys when it comes out. I'm going to do JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I've just got content coming, so I would appreciate it if you would stay. Yeah, so that's the end of this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below, who are your favorite characters? What did you think of the show? If you had no knowledge of it, and if you do have knowledge of it, I just want to know, what are your thoughts? Did this show accurately depict, I believe it's based off of a D&D game, which is for Dungeons and Dragons type of area. I don't know much about Dungeons and Dragons, so, but I heard that's what it's based off of, or that's what D&D stands for. But please comment down below what you thought of the show. Again, binge watch my other content. Subscribe, because the content is coming. Please turn on your post notifications and you will see me in the next video. Bye guys.